out there in YouTube, and welcome to episode 31 of my Doctor Who action figure reviews. Before I get started, just a little apology for the gap between this review and the last one I did. The reason for that is basically I've got a job now and I've been busy doing other things, so I didn't find the time to do this review. But I'm back now and hopefully I'll be able to get these reviews out more regularly. So in today's review we are going to be taking a look at the Genesis of the Daleks set, as you can see, featuring the 4th Doctor, Michael Wisher as Davros, and 2 Genesis Daleks. Basically following the same shoot as the previous Resurrection and Revelation sets. And this is a nice set. It's got its problems, but I'll get onto that in a minute. So to start off with, I'll take a look at the 4th Doctor. Now, this 4th Doctor is the same as the one I reviewed in my 4th Doctor and Genesis Dalek reviews. Check that review out if you haven't seen it. The only difference is being this time that he has his solemn head without the hat, and he has no mud on his shoes or his trousers. But other than that, it's exactly the same articulation. Arms can do a 360, biceps do a 360, arms can bend, the wrists can also do a 360, not hindered by the duffel coat. His torso can do a 360, like that. It's slightly hindered by the duffel coat, but not too much. His legs go forward and backward, his thighs can do a 360, and his knees can bend. Other than that, standard articulation for any Doctor figure. Now, if you watch my previous 4th Doctor and Genesis Dalek review, you'll know that I'm not particularly fond of this variant, mainly because the necktie and waistcoat are completely wrong. This was the second time this version was released, after the Sontaran Experiment set. And the problem is that he doesn't wear this variant of costume in any story. He never wears a red necktie, and he certainly does not wear that waistcoat until the next season with Planet of Evil. So that's completely wrong. It should be his pale green cravat necktie thing and his other cardigan, but they haven't done that, so that's a shame. Other than that, same details on the figure. Very purple lips on this version for some reason, I don't know why. This is also present on the Sontaran Experiment set and the Destiny of the Daleks set version as well. Very odd choice. But other than that, standard 4th Doctor. Accessory wise, he does come with a sonic screwdriver. I've unfortunately misplaced mine. It's among my other doctors on the shelf somewhere. I do apologise, but if you've seen 4th Doctor figures, you know what his screwdriver looks like. And then the other accessory for this Doctor, which was a secret accessory for this set, not revealed on the promotional pictures, is the Carled Mutant from the cliffhanger of episode 5 and the beginning of episode 6 of Genesis of the Daleks. Now this is a very, very nice little extra. It doesn't represent what's on screen, because what was on screen was just a green piece of rubber around his neck. So character options are gone with some artistic license with this little accessory, and basically giving you a blob-like Carled Mutant in the middle, and giving it some tentacles and little fleshy lumps at the end. It's very, very nice, and it slightly resembles a new series variant in the main section, which is a solid piece of rubber, a little bit but not too much. And basically what you can do with this little accessory is wrap it around his neck, have Tom's arms raised up to his neck as well, and then all you have to do is lean him back, and you can relive the moment where he's getting choked to death and cue the credits. So that's all I really have to say on this 4th Doctor. A bit disappointing about the inaccuracy with the waistcoat and the necktie, but the Carled Mutant is a nice little bonus, and it does, when he's in this position at least, it does cover it up a little bit, so I don't mind that as much. So that's all I have to say on the 4th Doctor. Could be better, but nice to have another 4th Doctor all the same. And so the next figure that I'm going to look at, which is the figure that everybody bought this set for and everybody's been waiting for a long time, is of course Davros, as played by Michael Wisher. Now this variant of Davros is very, very nice. It's very, very good. There's a few problems with it, but other than them, it's very, very good. It's essentially the same as the Michael Wisher Davros with some changes. as the Terry Malloy. Sorry, it's the same as the Terry Malloy Davros with some changes. Essentially, because the Terry Malloy used this base, the body, and just had a Terry Malloy head sculpt and some tweaks to the chair. I'll start with the head sculpt, as the articulation's the same as on the Terry Malloy Davros. The sculpt of the mask is very, very good. You've got all these grooves and indentations where his skin's sort of melted and it's been painted in one shade of brown and then another shade to highlight all the textures and everything of his skin, and it's very, very good. It's very, very nice detail. He's got his head brace again. As you can see here, there's some paint chipped away from it, unfortunately, but I can live with that. He's got the blue wires coming from the blue head brace to the front of his eye with this silver bit around it. So that's different to the Terry Malloy Davros. The red wires from his blue head brace into his ears, and a new microphone, which is just silver with a white bit at the end, and then another bit of silver. And the good thing about this one is it doesn't hang below his mouth, it's up to his mouth, so it's as it should be. So that's the head sculpt, very, very nice. But problems arise, excuse me, when we turn the figure around and we get to the back of his chair, which I'll go into now. As you can see, the back of the chair is all bent around here. The blue head brace has bent to the side here, unfortunately, and that has knocked the silver bit of the back of his chair out of shape, and the shoulder bit is hanging off his shoulder a little bit. Now, it was worse than this when I first bought the set. So, I've put it in boiling water, tried to put it into place, but this is as good as I can get it at the moment. I may have to try that again. But other than that, it's very nice. It's got nice silver finish, the black highlights around the edges, the two bolts there, and the little black piece as well. It's just a shame that the back bit is deformed slightly, as this is a Davros figure most people wanted, and there's issues with it. But when we go around to the front, it's a lot better, as he is usually posed on shelves like this, and he definitely is on mine. And when we get to the chair, things look a lot better, particularly in the control panel section. Now, this is completely different to the Terry Malloy version, as the Terry Malloy version has an extra piece clipped on the top. But here that's been removed and given the Genesis of the Daleks control panel with the little dial he turns to torment Harry and Sarah Jane. You've got the rows of switches here, the yellow switches and the red switches. I think they're supposed to be green, but I'm not too fussed about that. And these are made of a slightly translucent rubber, so you can actually move them slightly and control them with Davros like he does in the episode, which is very, very good. But do be mindful that they could break off. In this middle bit here, you have a row of colourful lights or buttons and a little control panel on this side as well. And these little bits here, these little silver switches, one of them is the switch that the Fourth Doctor uses to turn off his life support system when he's threatening him to shut down the production line. The tunic is the same, obviously, because it's the same sculpt for this Davros. It's got all the creases, the zip, and it's in the matte black, very nice. And the only other thing different about this bit of his chair is the screws have now been covered with a patch of yellow paint with 3 lights on them on both sides, which is very, very good. As on the Malloy version, you could see these quite obvious screws. If I'm right, these should be orange in Genesis, but in the Destiny version of this figure, they are orange, so it may be that I'm just getting the colour scheme wrong for this figure, or I am indeed right and they've just put it on the other figure and changed it to make this one a bit different. Other than that, when we get to the bottom of the chair, it's basically the same as on the Terry Malloy version. You've got the matte black paint, the silver hemispheres. There's some paint chipped off here and some silver paint that's dropped onto the black, which is a shame, but I can live with that. You still have the little hatch feature from the Resurrection and Revelation model. Shouldn't really be on here as it isn't shown until Resurrection, but the good thing is they've gone to the effort of painting it again, and a retool of this would mean putting a bit more money into the set, which it just isn't worth it really, considering that when you have this Davros facing forward, it's not that obvious anyway. And other than that, the fender at the bottom is different. It's completely silver. It's got the silver bumper bits, which are from the Michael Wisher chair. They shouldn't be on the Malloy chair, but they are, just to make the sculpt a bit easier. And now this has all just been painted completely silver, as it should be from this story. So that's everything about Davros. It's a shame about the few quality control issues, but other than that, it's a very, very nice figure all the same, and one I'm glad to have among my collection of Davroses. So the final things to look at are, of course, the two Genesis Daleks. Now, these two Genesis Daleks are not the same as the original release. The original release of the Genesis Dalek was painted in a gloss grey colour. These Daleks are not painted that way. These are in a matte grey, have a matte grey finish, and there are some alterations as well. If I take a look at this one first, the essential details are, well, I'll go through the articulation first. On 3 wheels, obviously, as all Daleks are, same basic sculpt, can go forward and backward. Head can do a 360, mine are very stiff as they're not used very much. Eye stalk goes up and down. It's quite loose and it can come out if you force it out. And the gun and plunger are on ball joints. Be careful with the silver one, as my silver Dalek has a virtually immovable gun. I've just loosened it finally. There we go. And the plunger is in a similar state. So basically the same articulation for both Daleks. Detail wise, they're in a matte grey, as I've said. It's very, very nice. They've got the white rigid dome lights as they should. Very, very nice. The new dome lights seen on the Resurrection and Revelation models. And if I take a look at the eye stalk, it is the eye stalk as seen in the story, with the 5 discs, the black section here, then this raised silver, and the silver here, and the iris and pupil as they are in that story, which is very, very nice. The mesh has got the silver in between the grey slats, which is painted on very, very nicely. Not like on previous models where there was a bit of paint bleed. These figures are actually quite good for that. And of course, other than that, you've got a bronze gun, as seen with the 4th Doctor and Genesis Dalek I reviewed before. This one is not removable. This one actually is stuck in, so you've got a proper Genesis Dalek, but the plunger arm is silver with the black bit, and then you have the matte black plunger at the end. Other than that, it's your same standard base. It's got gloss black hemispheres and a matte black fender here, and that's basically it. And the same can be said for this version. The only differences are, of course, that the gun on this is silver. Now, I don't remember seeing a silver gun in the story, so whether this variant does exist or not, please let me know. I remember them having some with black guns, and definitely the bronze gun, but the silver one I'm not sure about. But the silver gun is very, very nice, and it does match up with the silver plunger, and it does make this a bit more interesting. And they did obviously release a Dalek with the black gun in the Talking Daleks wave. But other than that, it's exactly the same sculpt, it's the same model, so there's not much else to really say. One word of warning with these Daleks: these sections of the head that divide these rims here, they are slightly misshapen, so there is a gap, if you can see quite obviously in this one, between each section of the head, so be mindful of that when you pick your Genesis of the Daleks set. So that's pretty much it for this review. Final thoughts: if you don't have a 4th Doctor in his duffel coat, then you may want to get this set. To get that figure, you'll get a secret accessory and a sonic screwdriver. Yes, the figure is inaccurate, as it doesn't appear in any story, but there's nothing we can really do about that. I don't think they'll ever change it. If you didn't want the Terry Malloy Davros, or you didn't buy any of the previous sets, or you're a Michael Wisher fan, then you'll definitely want to get the set. You'll get the Michael Wisher figure. Be mindful of the back of his chair, as that can be a problem. But other than that, it's a fantastic figure, especially looking at the front like this. It's brilliant, it's very nicely detailed and worth the wait. And of course you'll get 2 Genesis Daleks, which are different to the original. And of course you won't have to spend all that money buying the first Dalek Collector's set just to get more Genesis Daleks. You can get 2 for £45. This set did cost £45 from Forbidden Planet. It's another exclusive. And I'd say it's definitely worth it if you're a fan of Daleks, Davros, or the Fourth Doctor, or if you're a fan of Genesis of the Daleks as a story, as it is the, I believe it is the it's either the second or third greatest Doctor Who story according to the last poll they did. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this review, guys. If you like more more information about this set, check out Batman March's blog, check out his review of the Genesis of the Dalek set, and join me next time when I shall be looking at the last of the Dalek sets, which is the Destiny of the Dalek set, which obviously features a season 16 Fourth Doctor in his green coat. And again, there's going to be there'll be a bit more focus on the Fourth Doctor in that review, as I've got a bit to say about that. David Goodison as Davros, with the grey chair and the orb, and 2 Destiny Daleks, one of which is not a variant in that story, but I'll get onto that in the review. So, thank you for watching this review, guys. Please watch, like, and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you in my next Doctor Who action figure review.